and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Good morning, everybody. This is Louis Michelson at Business Talk Radio. Actually, it's good afternoon. Wow, 12 o'clock already. Unbelievable. Okay, we have a very special guest from Atlanta, Georgia. And she's a shamanic, psychic healing practitioner and a law of attraction coach, Sunday Bright.
Hi, Louie.
How you doing, Sunday? How's everything going?
Everything's really good, I have to say.
Excellent. Very good. So, the world today is in turmoil.
Yes, and I'm so happy to have the opportunity to be able to share my experience with anyone who cares to move through this in a peaceful, flowing kind of way. The products and services I offer all center around helping people connect with who they really are so that they can reach their full potential in this lifetime and shine their light in a way that shows them how to manifest their desires and benefit the earth and all of its inhabitants. And I really am a master at shadow work. And it is really the shadow that blocks us all from our potential and dims the light that we are. And this pandemic really is a global manifestation of how that occurs in people. We have our own individual manifestations of that, and then it all kind of accumulates to something even bigger. And I kind of want to talk about three things. I want to talk about how resistance may prolong our pain, how to contribute to the healing of the virus on the planet, and how to be part of the Great Awakening.
Very good.
Yeah.
I know you have a secret formula for everything.
Yes, I do. And and I didn't mention my information about. I actually have a site called thesecretformula.com, but mainly my main sites are sundaybright.com and bright-future.net has a directory of all of my other sites because I do I try to find a lot of ways to help people understand this and be able to implement it in their life because it can be very powerful. But I really, like I said, I think it's important to help people move through our current pandemic in a peaceful, flowing kind of way. And one might ask, is there anyone who would want it any other way? And really not consciously, but as I go through the posts on social media, it's obvious that there's a lot of people who don't know how to do that. And I'm hoping to shed enough light on our own inherent nature that it prompts more people to heal so that they can shine their light and contribute to a global healing. And at the end of this broadcast, I'm going to provide a very brief yet powerful healing to help today's listeners with whatever bothers you most about our current pandemic. So please have that in mind. I believe somebody from the last show that I did that on had a really great result that they mentioned. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. It said, the lady called in and said, I had been struggling for a couple of days over the incident that happened with my mother. So I was looking at that in my life, and I truly did feel something lighten and detached. It was very exciting. And she said, so thank you, Business Talk Radio, for that opportunity. So here's a listener that just was listening and had a healing.
Right, and it really doesn't have to be difficult. I have enough experience in this where I started out making it hard, and from the beginning, I knew I was meant to do something with that, and it was really, I was methodical. I wanted to understand every aspect of healing. It was slow, and something in me kept driving me to do it quick, and I'm able to do it quick. I'm able to do it, in a group, and I'm able to do it quickly with an individual. So, but I want to go into more about how people can do it for themselves. People aren't wrong in feeling what they feel about things going on. It is very natural. but there are a lot of people in this world, probably most people, that don't know how to process the emotions from past trauma, and that the charge from that trauma contributes to your vibration, and a vibration that is the result of that experience will cause you to look at events in a way that is a mirror of the way that you feel inside. In other words, if you have a bad experience, you don't want to have a similar experience, so you get triggered when anything like that comes up, and then you resist. And resistance creates a struggle, and you live life struggling rather than flowing. So people often ask me how do you not resist? I mean, that's like my biggest question. How do you not resist when it feels like it might, what you're experiencing might lead to something bad like it did in the past? It's a really good question, because instead of resisting, you really want to understand why you resist in the first place. You want to recognize that resistance, and you want to look at what's going on inside that causes you to have that resistance. Instead of looking away from in the form of putting it on someone else by blaming others, judging, or hating, you look at yourself because there's an opportunity for you to grow, an opportunity for you to find your power and your light. And this event is a culmination of many, many generations of resistance, and it's time for us to let go of the resistance and flow toward a better experience for all of us. And some people ask me, why do I call it resistance? And I call it resistance because when you have an experience that you don't like, you may react in anger and blame. You don't want to experience what you've experienced before, and you react to the trigger. And it's, like I said, it's okay to react, but when you recognize the reaction, looking within will be more beneficial than giving someone or something else your power by getting angry. And things have really come to a head. We've reached a point where we can either explode in anger and hate or come together in unity. And many people are doing that already, and it's really awesome. They're sharing their music and teachings and love, and I applaud all who are doing that. And gratitude, compassion, and love are really the best immune boosters. And this is an opportunity for a great awakening, for all of us to find that light within. And I'm here to help you navigate the process of awakening. Fear and hate may be perpetuated by those who have a personal agenda, one that is not for our highest and best good. And I've had to struggle through this, curbing my own judgments about those who do this before I could even bring a message. After all, how can I suggest the concept of not judging when I myself am judging others? But judgment is largely based in fear, and in doing that, you get pulled down into the depths of murkiness and lower your immune system, block your own intuition, and subsequent awakening. And there is a great opportunity here for you to access your power and your gifts in this situation and assist humanity in flowing through to the outcome of a better world for all of us to live in. The world has become a place of imbalance, and the occurrence of more natural disasters is a sign that nature is trying to balance itself, having a purpose in creating unity, including with Mother Earth herself. Even your own personal problems, such as health, relationships, and financial problems, are a sign of imbalance, having a purpose of helping you getting your attention so as to correct your course. And yet, the more we remain separate, the more we hate, the more we judge, the more we fear our current situation, the deeper we fall into the depths of that imbalance. So the answer, first we view this current pandemic as an opportunity for us to correct our course, an opportunity to heal. Whether you have the virus or not, you likely have some kind of problem as a result of this current pandemic. It may bring to a head the culmination of all underlying negative emotions triggered as your experience in this alerts you to what you've been holding deep down inside, reflecting out as some problem. What we fear ends up creating limitations in our life, and we're not meant to be limited. Every single person who is suffering in this needs to look at what this pandemic means to them personally. How is it disrupting your life? How is it a mirror of your vibration in some way? How does your judgment of those staying, not staying home tell you? What does your judgment of China tell you? What about the President of the United States? What does your fear of getting the virus tell you? What about the mad rush to buy toilet paper? What it all tells me is that you're not trusting, which has a basis in not having access to your own power. If you were being you, you'd feel a lot more balanced and secure, and you'd know that you'd get through this thing. So I'm saying that instead of pointing fingers and resisting measures or measures not taken to control the virus, look at yourself. Look within. Look at the emotions and where they come from. Most importantly, consider the power that you haven't been wielding. I know this can be hard. When I do this, oftentimes I feel myself not wanting to go there, not even wanting to write about the real way I feel inside. It's like I want to completely deny it. But funny enough, when you face it and you push through it, you end up accessing your own power. And the love, compassion, and gratitude that opens your heart to the light that you are. And that feels so much better than being in than having it be somebody else's fault.
Absolutely. You can't blame it on anybody else right now. It's the way the world is.
Right.
And everybody is basically in the same situation. You either look at it positively or you look at it negatively, and you have to get in touch with Sunday Bright, and she can help you.
or get in self with the inner self, because I can't solve everybody's problems. There's only one of me, and I can't solve and I can't. Believe me, I've meditated. I'm like, how do I kill the virus? What is this virus? And it's just complicated. It's just so complicated. But we can start by looking within by journaling. That's what I do. First of all, writing about the way that you feel is a great way to release all these feelings. Personally, after I vent, I always ask myself, what is that? That's like my famous line. What is that? When it comes to anything I consider a problem. And it's like I look at myself from an outside perspective, viewing my emotions, and then I go from there. And I actually have set up a journaling outline that prompts you with questions that you would want to ask yourself. That outline can be found at howtotransformproblems.com. But during this current virus scare, I've personally, pushed through quite a few issues that have come up. And I have a strong desire to serve, but I haven't been able to offer anything useful up until this point from the state of fear that I've been in. So I've simply worked on myself, and I've gotten through it. And my journaling always gets me through my challenges when I stop fearing, judging, blaming, and resisting. And this has really caused me to go back to what I do to overcome issues. But I'd like to talk about how this can contribute to a great awakening. Considering the complexity of what we're dealing with, I know that it has to be for each individual to work through. Creating an individual awakening to manifest a collective awakening. And we need your light. We need everybody's light. When you face your fears, they back down, and you realize that there was nothing to be afraid of. You find your power. It helps us all in this situation. And then you use it to make your life better overall. And this thing will die out. It will be put out by your light. It will be put out by our unity. And it will no longer be relevant. And when we realize we are all one. And if you can't do it on your own, that's when I can help. I realize how hard it can be to face your own stuff. And when you can't see it, psychically, I can see it. I have a new session that's been very powerful, and I call it the Neutralize It session. And in that session, I psychically look to see how your current vibration is creating the problem and where it came from. And then I work to neutralize the charge still held by the event or events, removing any shadow figures created by that energy and helping you to know where where karma is involved and how to clear it. And I actually do this session offline. I am going to run you through a healing for everybody. It's a very quick little a little thing that I'm going to guide you through. I asked you before to have a problem in mind, especially as it relates to this pandemic. So this is kind of like a meditation, but you don't need to be in a deep meditative state. You just need to be neutral for long enough for me to plant the seed of healing and transformation in your energy field. And I'm going to give you a brief visual that you can use to access this state. I want to call in Archangel Michael for protection and assistance first of all. Now I want you to hold in your awareness something about the current pandemic that is the biggest problem for you, without emotion or judgment. Imagine the problem as if it is a file that you pull out of a file cabinet and put on your desk and simply open up. The file has the answers that will heal, solve, and transform the problem. This analogy actually opens up the Akashic record of your problem. So while you have this file open, I access the negative energetic charge still being held by the inciting incident that created your problem, and I neutralize. It may be an incident from earlier in life. It may be a karmic incident. It may even be an ancestral incident. I ask that any shadow entity created by the charge in these incidents to step up. I ask Archangel Michael to remove this entity. I ask that light and information appropriate to each person's path and true authentic self fill the void left by the exiting entity. Light that brings you closer to who you are. Light that brings comfort, safety, and love. And I ask that the power in this situation become known and wielded for every person listening at this time. And so it is. And now you may have felt something during this energetic exchange or not, but what you should do now is notice how things are different and look for signs that tell you, what that power is and write about it. You can download my journaling outline at howtotransformproblems.com, as writing is also a great way to release pent-up emotions. And if you want to go through this process for any other situation you consider a problem, you can probably download this archive once it becomes available.